Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to iAllegedly. I've got a good one for you today because we're going to talk about a phenomenon that is unbelievable, and that is $100 million houses that are selling for pennies right now. And I'm going to do this from Corona del Mar, Main Beach. But I want to prove a little point to you guys about this, and that is high-end real estate is suffering like you wouldn't believe. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold, which I'll cover them in a bit. But beautiful morning out here in Corona del Mar. Now, this isn't a $100 million neighborhood. This is Peasantville. This is, you know, 18 to $30 million neighborhood. Okay, it's really nice. But your front yard's there, and you get to look at the Pacific Ocean. But we're going to start over here. Now, one thing that's happening is you're seeing a dramatic drop in the price of real estate for high-end luxury homes here in California. And the problem is the overvaluation. People bought houses and thought that they were going to go through the roof and continue to go up, or I'm famous, I can sell my house for more than I thought I could. And we're seeing this as a huge problem right now. Now, a few things: celebrities, divorces, people want to move out of the area. Mark Wahlberg took off to Vegas. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck get divorced. And, a lot of these people, it's just second and third houses for these people. But what you're seeing is the carrying cost to maintain a $50 million piece of property is taking its toll with these people. Now, imagine you have a $100 million piece of property and you're forced to sell it for whatever reason. Getting divorced, you relocate, your business is changing, whatever. The carrying costs are just too much. This is, a $20 million neighborhood. It's nice. These houses are stunning. And this is Ocean Boulevard. Now, when you look at the famous people that have had to unload their properties, first one, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, they bought their house for $68 million and sold it for $52 million. They took a $16 million haircut. Okay, the love don't cost a thing. Yeah, it does. Okay, so they get divorced and they have to unload the property. Kanye West, Malibu oceanfront mansion, paid $53 million from this famous Japanese designer that was just going to be incredible. And he listed his for $53 million, sold it for $21 million. Again, a 60% haircut on that. That's $30 million gone. Gone. Okay. Now, you can sit there and say, these are rich people, Dan. They can afford that. No one can afford to lose $30 million. Nobody living can afford to lose $30 million. Robert Baer, okay, he listed his $100 million house and sold it for $44 million. Now, again, a $50 million, vaporization of money, which I love that it was put that way to me. Mark Wahlberg, Beverly Park compound, listed it at $87.5 million. Now, here's the thing: $87.5 million. He wants to relocate, move his kids to Vegas. Fantastic. Okay, you're going to set up that film studio. That may or may not happen, but he sold it for $55 million. That's $32 million. And, more than most people make in their lives, this guy lost it on one house. So, another one, this is one of my favorite ones. There's a Four Seasons penthouse with an undisclosed buyer who's famous from LA, and that's the only ones I chose. Was listed at $75 million. Think about this one. Sold for $15 million. Listed at $75 million. They unloaded this penthouse for $15 million. It's 80% price reduction. That is a liquidation sale, guys. Now, what you're seeing this more and more and more. The overpriced expectations of real estate, it's catching up to everybody. It's starting with the high-end properties. It's starting in areas of the country. You're seeing Vegas. I just drove in and had somebody explain to me the Vegas market, and how people 2 and 3 years ago were buying houses for $800,000 and now they want to get 1.4 million, and now they're lucky if they can get 6 for the house right now. So that's what you're experiencing. And you know, these distress sales, doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, doesn't matter if you're a millionaire, you're a celebrity. People don't care. People don't care. Oh my gosh, I bought J.Lo's house. You know what I mean? No one cares. No one cares at all right now. And it's just, you know, it's all relatable, guys. It's all relatable. There's a lot more to cover on this. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. You know, one thing that's interesting when it comes to investing is history has a tendency to repeat itself. Before 1929, we saw stock prices go through the roof. You're seeing that right now. Now, one thing that's very interesting is people say, oh, gold is so expensive now. It's cheap compared to where it's headed. The best place to call right now is Patriot Gold Group, 888-330-1431. Call them, let them answer all your questions. They have thousands of 5-star ratings with the Better Business Bureau. They have been #1 rated for 9 years in a row. IRAs, 401ks. You know, think about this. Silver right now, if it was adjusted for inflation, silver should be about $200 an ounce. We are seeing high silver prices, and you haven't seen anything yet. We're talking about gold and how everybody's getting themselves into gold to protect themselves right now. Something is coming, something's brewing. You don't want to miss out on this, but please contact Patriot Gold Group today. Let them answer all your questions. Let them send out a free investor guide, but contact #1 rated Patriot Gold Group now before it's too late. 888-330-1431. Now, luxury real estate, mansions, celebrity real estate, these are not immune to the same problems that you and I have. You know, think about this. We have all seen our insurance costs, double in the last year. Gone up. You own a house, you get to pay twice as much now to own that house and insure it. What do you think these people pay? You know, here's what's wild. This street has got a house on it that's 50 grand a month in rent. That's crazy. Well, it's not as crazy as the house at 65,000 a month for rent up the street. Okay? Who's paying 65 grand a month for rent? That's nuts. This is all relative, guys. This is all relative. There are people out there that, will never be able to afford one home, but to be able to afford a house that's 20 to 30 million dollars is nuts. Now then you get to 50, 60, 100 million dollars, it's a completely different level. And again, I'm going to get a lot of people saying, "Oh, they can afford it, Dan. It's no big deal." No, it is, guys. And again, they have the same distress, the same motivated sellers, you know. Again, right now we're experiencing a time of buyer leverage. Buyer is in charge. And again, if you want to buy a house, guys, right now, you need to understand you're going to have a 6% mortgage plus. If you can swing that, great. If you can pay cash for it, even better, even better. But again, it's happening, and there's nothing that can be done about this right now because it's only heading in one direction. The person that called me today about the Vegas market is just stunned at how bad it was. And they were like, weren't you going to buy a house? I always look. I don't care what city I go to. I'm constantly looking at the real estate in that city, and again, you're seeing seller ego right now. My house is worth more. I have more problems with realtors. What's the biggest problem selling a house right now? Oh, the biggest problem selling a house is the sellers think the house is worth much more, and their house is the best house in the neighborhood. Whether it's noise, whether it's decorations, whether it's the architecture, whether it's the pool that they overspent on by $150,000, it's everything, So starting to see this more and more and more. What do you guys think about this? The mega mansions are not selling. LA has a problem with a luxury tax over $5 million where people have to spend an additional 5% that's supposed to go to the homeless. What do you think that's going to? Seriously. Think Karen Bass is writing a check to the homeless people? Yeah. Okay. Again, when I was a young man in my 20s, I used to sit there and say, I'm going to live on Ocean Boulevard. I'm going to live on this street. I am telling you, this street is hell during the weekend. When you have everybody that comes up here and parks, everybody can park up here. There's no, um, there's no parking meters. It's free. And then down there, you've got Corona del Mar State Beach. That is just absolutely stunning. But you get to deal with all the people that are just tourists. Now, the problem with it is that you have some mook with a camera filming in front of your $25 million house. It's absolutely no bueno, okay? There's more to cover in this video. Let me know what you think about this. But guys, this is a time to go out and to do your homework. You do your homework, you're going to be incredibly successful and you're going to be rewarded for getting the house that you want. Do what I did, guys, when I went and bought a house. Wanted to live on this street, this neighborhood, and wanted to have, the house decorated a certain way. And as far as an inspection, I wanted it to be something that would be perfect because I'm an old man and I didn't want to have to spend the rest of my life fixing it up. Do yourself that favor, okay? And do an ounce of research. My son, him and his roommate are changing apartments this weekend, and I'm very proud of this because he went out and he's like me. Well, yeah, I'll make a list. Okay, but they did. They made a list of everything that they wanted to check off between him and his roommate, and went out and met all the requirements so that they could get the exact place they wanted to live. It was great. Where they ended up, where they're moving to, it met all the requirements. Cheaper rent, saving $500 a month for the rent in a newer building. It's all cool. Now, one thing that's very interesting is we're seeing multiple attacks, cyber attacks against wealthy executives right now. They're trying to get their data, they're trying to steal their identities, but it is dozens and dozens of super wealthy individuals that are experiencing this right now. Great story out of the New York Post about this. And again, it's not just us, it's not just companies. Why not go where the money's at? Why not to go to some executive who's sidetracked and you can, funnel money out of his wallet? That's what they're trying to do. So take a look at that. The next thing is, so many people right now are putting off retirement. And what we're seeing is a great story that I found where they interviewed 3,500 individuals that are working, and then 1,600 retirees, and said, what are your finances like? Now think about this. Think about this number. 1997, 31% of the people surveyed in the same survey said that they were living paycheck to paycheck. Now it's almost 80%. Hello. 51% of people's money goes towards their mortgage and rent payment, and they have very little little left over at the end of a month. Now, the other thing is that Gen X, which is the people that are 45 to 60, the majority of these people have saved nothing for retirement. And, hey, I had a 401k, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to keep the money and spend it and go out on the weekends. These people are starting to pay the price because as you get older and this gets closer, retirement gets closer, they're not going to have the money around. And people are like, well, something has to be done. Yeah, go get another job. Go to a third or fourth job to pay for this. It's going to be tough because you're going to see this as a real problem that's going to just get worse as we get closer. Remember, I still don't believe Social Security is going to be there for us. I really don't. I don't care what promise any president makes me. I don't think it's going to be there. The next thing is Tesla. Tesla had a banner third quarter. With the threat of the $7,500 coupon going away, they sold over 500,000 cars in the third quarter. Now, isn't that great? We did fantastic. Now, we want to make it really clear. They did their financials, they did their quarterly report, and they said, listen, we want to make it really clear. We think the fourth quarter is going to be off right now, and we don't think it's going to be anywhere near what we did last year. So they're not going to have any holiday buying for Tesla cars, and it's going to be off. Now, right now, Tesla is expected to do 1.61 million cars for 2025. That's a lot of cars, guys. 1.6 million Teslas. Only problem with it is that it's 10% off of what they did in 2024. So they know the writing's on the wall, and they know that there's a huge problem with this. Um, NBC fired everybody in London from their news department there because they're, getting rid of MSNBC and making all these different changes. So the London bureau chief and his staff are gone. Okay, bye. I'll give you $1 if you could name any of those guys' names off memory. You can't, because they're such stellar news people. But anyways, next thing, our privacy being ripped off and sold. FICO, the company that keeps track of our credit scores, they just signed a deal, and their stock just surged this week because they just admitted that they're going to start selling FICO scores, our FICO scores, my FICO score, your FICO score, directly to mortgage companies. How nuts is that, guys? So with that, your data for resellers, it's mortgage resellers, Dan. Hey, you want to refinance your house? You got a good credit score. Nobody wants that. I don't want my credit score doled out like that. Do you? Isn't that terrible? So, isn't that great news? We found a way to fleece the American public and take advantage of their privacy and advertise. So, how do you opt out of that? Tell me. How do you opt out of having your FICO score sold to the highest bidder? You know what I mean? You can't. You can't. Hey, dear Dan, you're a deadbeat. You're really subprime level, man. Let's go out and let's get you a mortgage. That $20 million house, fantasy land, we're going to let you walk by it, but you can't live in it. You know what I mean? It gets crazy, guys, but your privacy is for sale. Your credit score's for sale. Everything's for sale. Okay? Let me know what you think so far. Please do not forget that we have a private channel called iAllegedly Live. We are fast approaching 450 videos on that site. I love doing that content for you guys. It's fantastic. It's uncensored. You sign up at iAllegedly.tv. We're on the App Store, Amazon. You can also listen to the show on Spotify, guys, and all these other cool places. iHeartRadio. It's very, very cool. Few things to end this. I want to thank broker Aaron Smiles, for sending me this, because first things first, Dan, you never have any good news. Well, there's good news. TD Bank is expanding and getting more office space as they expand on the East Coast. Now, the Trump administration just withdrew an $18 billion payment to New York City because they caught them with DEI projects that they weren't supposed to have, that they said they weren't going to have, and now they're done. So, very interesting. Government shutdown, guys, is going to make some government rents not get paid. Man, I'm telling you, who would want to be a landlord right now? So I want to thank broker Aaron for sending all that stuff. All those stories will be below right now. It's very cool. And I also found a very cool article on 20 things in your home that could be worth a lot of money. Everything from vinyl records to old toys, cookie jars, VHS tapes. Man, oh man, oh man. How about this one? Old magazines. When my mother passed, she had saved all these different magazines from history, and I'm going to give you an idea, different news stories, John F. Kennedy Jr. going down for the count, stuff like that. It was very interesting. But that, we were like, what are these worth? Well, now you can take a picture with Google, and it'll tell you what they're selling for. So if you have things like that, look for them. Don't just throw things out. Do a little research, and you'll be surprised that some of the stuff is actually worth some money. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and you want to get a hold of me, it's hello@iallegedly.com. And I'll see you very soon.